And now presenting Markolide after a pause. Welcome back, Anhedonia.
Hi, Hidonia. How do you do?
We are waiting for our semester to end. It's not ending. When will the day come?
Hmm. I
So,
wonder if it could be something like putting it on the calendar, marking it on the calendar,
Mark,
and and being like, okay, that is it. That's where we have to reach. That's where we have to go.
yeah,
But yeah.
literally like dot 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 blank dialogue bubble. That's that's our state of mind. So to start us off, you got uh, artwork with you. Words are not
Oh
happening.
yes. It from the blank state of mind and the blank bubble, these
Yeah,
not very blank bubbles or balloons. So it was super fun to do this. Okay, I saw this on an Instagram reel
yeah,
where someone just threw a bunch of rubber bands on paper, and
yeah.
everywhere the rubber band fell. So either she traced the shadows around them or the actual where it fell. And I started doing that to do one as a part of our art journal for our course. And I realized, okay, it's interesting. I like how it's going, and I started filling in each of the bubbles then, very like deconstructed Zentangles of sort, and very in flow. So me,
Yeah.
hi.
Chick said me hi. And speaking of, I have the flow of thoughts sea, and it has tributaries coming out, and it says tangent talk tributaries, and it's definitely in dedication to us trying to finish our work and try so hard to not get into tangents of things and different interesting rabbit holes, because however the work pressure is, it's such interesting work that we get to do over here, right?
Of course, I mean it's very obviously contemplative practices in a sense also. And I wonder if when we say tributaries and when it takes us to the different seas, as you mentioned, would it be as like a rabbit hole? We tend to kind of get sucked into it, but then sea is so expansive and it is so vast, but it also holds an intensity with it. So that's like everything we do, no? Everything takes us to some other place, and we're constantly exploring, and it's like an imploding, exploding, both happening.
Yeah, absolutely. I think we both will implode or explode if the semester doesn't end soon.
I actually have a slight
Segue.
stress about the fact that it is ending, because
Yeah.
it creates this kind of um
Vacuum.
like, yeah, and a blank space kind of a thing, that okay, once it's done, then what? And then we meet directly June end, which I'm super excited about. But
Yeah.
then what am I supposed to do in the meantime? And then my mind goes like here, there, and everywhere, and the tributaries are like more like Medusa than actual flow.
Yeah, it is like that. So, yeah, for you, it was like delaying the process of semester ending. And for me, it was like, let's just get rid of it so that I can get back to doing my thing. Because I had a few things lined up, and I thought I'll get to it. Like our previous Markolide has not been uploaded because so much of back-to-back work was happening, and I thought that I will be able to, but it's like I can do one thing at a time, and yeah, if I can parallel work with something that is somewhat related to what I'm already doing, then probably I can. Otherwise, nah, no way that I can.
Yeah.
So
Also, like the satisfaction, right? That the semester has ended. I guess that's what also you must be, or one thinks about, okay, this is done. And then, like, I've also been texting my friends and being like, okay, my final submissions are done, the final papers are submitted. And people are like, acha, to course khatam ho gaya? And I'm like, no, just this semester has ended. With that feeling of finality. But then it was like the finish line kept moving ahead. And then we had more assignments. I mean, like, final submissions are done, but the assignments are not done. So,
So seriously, it was like never ending. But I am doing much better because I have been in this position before, also in my previous masters, that I discovered that thing that, it was so back to back to back. And it is now that I have an evolved system where, yes, I have like work time and play time. So I know what I can get back to. And as I've been sharing, that I'm going to take a psychology detox and dive into, like you were talking about vacuum, there'll be a vacuum. So immediately I was thinking about the vacuum that our solar system is outside of the Earth's atmosphere. So my mind is already there, that how much of astrophysics that I will get in my brain and just take pause from psychology. Because when you showed your rubber band drawing, you were talking about shadow, and then I was literally telling myself, don't start mentioning Carl Jung and shadow work.
yeah, interesting, right? And I just find it, I would still say I find it highly ambitious for you to say, "Bhai, haan, take a psychology detox." That seems
I will,
quite tough to achieve.
like, when I set my mind to something, I'm just gonna be doing that. Like, you watch me go in that direction, because I know that the payoff is going to be so good. Like
Yeah,
keeping all the psychology stuff on the side for a moment. And I think this is going to become a ritual for me now, that I will take these psychology detoxes from time to time, because
like,
yeah, I remember I desperately needed that. I twice this has happened, and I was feeling guilty that what is wrong with me? I picked this field. Why do I have this strong desire to just stay away from psychology stuff? Or even if I was consuming psychology stuff, there was a part of me that was rejecting it, and I felt so much guilt. So I guess that's why, hence, it has evolved to, I'll be able to smoothly segue into astrophysics topics and just keep psychology on the side for a bit.
yeah, like work time and play time. For me to almost wonder,
My notes, yeah.
for me to almost wonder if being in this assignments and this constant flux that we have, okay, this next, there's always a sheet on in front that needs to be tick marked, is a comfort zone for me. And maybe that's why I'm like, okay, let me remain here,
Me,
because
me being a therapist here. So, Shri, what I'm hearing is that you really gravitate towards a structure. You function well within a structure. That's not my therapist voice, by the way.
yeah, yeah.
I'm being a character.
Yeah, but I'm actually someone who's not very in structure. I don't particularly work like that any which way. My issues with conformity.
Yeah, same here. So that's why I keep that play and work thing alongside,
Yeah.
so that just giving my brain that feed that it needs. So I got a good understanding of my brain's feed needs last year,
Mm.
and I kept giving it those feeds. So much of uh, stress and anxiety got managed because of that. Because I was like, yeah, okay, let me give space to this, let me give space to that. And now it has become such a thing that that thing demands space. And if I don't give it, so like I keep saying now that my body is yelling at me to take a break. And if I don't, the whatever the discomfort and the pain would increase. And I'm like, okay, fine, body, I'll take a break.
Mhm.
Yeah. So structure
So
with play, maybe that will work for you.
getting in the pause, right? And
Getting in
then
the
just
ball. Yeah.
being and the balancing aspect of it.
This is why I got into art therapy. That with work, this play already is not so far away, you know?
The thing with your work play issue is that for now, for such a long period of time, the play is now become work. As in, art used to be a space just to go and like be chill, and that was the playtime, right? And now
Yeah.
that has a major element in the work with psychology added onto it. So currently, I still feel like in different spaces because I'm still taking in so much. There is so much to explore. It feels like never ending.
Yeah.
And I want to take in as much as I can. So it doesn't feel like a lot of that also seems like a play in a sense. Especially these different tributaries, wherever they're going, I want to follow each one and go in every direction and learn as much as I can. So I think for that, I feel like even that little bit of a break, and then I'm like, what if I devolve? And it just takes me to some other space rather remain here. It's working out well, you're doing good, so stay.
Yeah. And what's wrong with time to time devolving, you know? Gives gives room
Nothing.
to pick it back
Yeah.
up and
Of course, devolving is nice also because it crosses that linearity aspect also, I feel, which is
yeah.
again something that I quite like. So I like the idea. I feel like actually every tributary that you follow or this contemplative practice that we do, because I find everything that we read, something more to learn and something new to explore, is devolving only in a sense because it's like, acha, okay, this also exists. This can also be thought about.
Yeah.
People have also said something like this. So why not go there?
Interesting, because I've never seen, devolve. I've never used devolving in this manner. It can also be unlearning something which is really needed to unlearn,
Oh, surely so.
right? Because I used to think that, oh my God, from devolving, what's the point? I should and I must keep evolving. So much pressure.
Yeah, unnecessarily so. It's just like, again, words have so much power, but how you use them, how you associate that to them will have to be something that we can, it's like personal meaning making.
Personal meaning making. Our irrational beliefs. Hashtag REBT joke.
REBT.
So you had this book that you were going to read, page.
Yeah.
I only remember the page 21 aspect of it.
So the book is called Steal Like an Artist by
Hmm.
Austin Leon. And it looks
And
like
you
this.
didn't like the steel aspect of it.
Yeah, it's got like it looks like the red and the black always makes it.
In
So
that world, copyrights don't exist. Hence, steel.
irrational beliefs and all.
Me just
Okay,
doing jokes till the time you're starting to read.
so we were at page 21,
Mm-hmm.
and obviously I've not read this, but okay, let's see where it takes us.
Yeah.
Save your thefts for later. Okay.
Save your. Sorry, I didn't hear you. There. Internet
Theft.
stop. Theft for later.
Uh,
Yeah, got it. Huh.
so carry a notebook and a pen with you wherever you go. Get used to pulling it out and jotting down your thoughts and observations. Copy your favorite passages out of books. Record overhead conversations. Doodle when you're on the phone. This is so you.
Yeah.
And a little bit of so me. Go to whatever lengths necessary to make sure you always have paper on you. Artist David Hockney had all the inside pockets of his suit jackets tailored to fit a sketchbook. The musician, Arthur Russell, liked to wear shirts with two front pockets so he could fill them with scraps of score sheets. Keep a swipe file. It's just what it sounds like. A file to keep track of the stuff you swiped from others. It can be digital or analog. Doesn't matter what form it takes, as long as it works. You can keep a scrapbook and cut and paste things into it, or you can take pictures of things with your camera phone.
Oh my God, I have everything. This is
Yeah,
that file. What was it? Scrapbook. No. Before that, what did you say?
swipe file, swipe.
Swipe file. This is my swipe file. Yeah. And I have a
See something worth, see something worth stealing, put it in the swipe file. Need a little inspiration? Open up the swipe file. Yeah, that's precisely what you did, right?
spooky.
Newspaper reporters call this a morgue file. I like the name even better. Your morgue file is where you keep the dead things that you'll later reanimate in your work. Oh my god, you have a morgue file.
I have to create a coffin shaped notebook now.
Huh.
I think I'll find it somewhere online.
What if about creating like an actual coffin and then you put things in it because that would be more interesting.
We have woodwork next semester.
We do?
Yeah.
Interesting. And what an interesting take on a coffin, also. It's not associated with something that's really a lot of grief or death in that aspect, or something that really makes you feel upset. But making a coffin to put all these ideas that you'll work on later and revive them. And what symbolic, metaphoric aspect of the whole thing as well. I
Yeah.
really like it.
Yeah. And I love keeping containers, and it'll really work. So I want to talk about hedonic treadmill.
Hmm. Hi, Hidonia. What inspires you to say so? I'm seeking no pleasure in this, by the way, although it doesn't
Yeah.
look like it.
Yeah, it's like we didn't plan this at all. So this guy, Daniel Gilbert, he did this study on impact bias. So
Impact bias.
yeah, impact bias.
Hmm.
So the study. I'll get into the study, not digress into the tangent tributaries. So he, for a whole year, he asked multiple number of people, would you be happier if you won a lottery, or were you if you were paraplegic? So, of course, that sample of people kept saying that, so 60% of them said lottery, and 15% said paraplegic. I might have the stats wrong because I'm reading off of a diagram. I did not write the actual figure. I made a diagram, cartoon diagram for myself. So a year later, same question is being asked consistently. A year later, the response was 50-50. So this is called the hedonic adaptation, that we have a baseline for happiness and all the feelings and emotions that we have. And what our brain does is that it gets us back to the baseline. So when something happens to us, whether it is good or bad, our mind just adjusts to it and we get used to that state. So the hedonic treadmill is when you are just getting a promotion 1 year, and then you're
Hmm.
let's say, like, it could have been better, could have gotten more perks and whatnot. And then the next year comes, your reaction is similar. Then the next year comes, similar reaction, could have done better, could have gotten more, right? So that individual is on a hedonic treadmill of keeping wanting more. They haven't struck that thing of, yeah, there should be something in between of hedonic adaptation and a hedonic treadmill, you know? Am I making sense?
Kind of. I get the hedonic treadmill aspect. Hedonic adaptation, I'm still trying to understand. The happiness baseline, as you mentioned.
That if somebody is going through some kind of dissatisfaction in their life, which
Hmm.
in the first year seems like a big impairment. a situation feels like a big impairment in somebody's life. As the year passes, it becomes a mild dissatisfaction because you are getting used to that.
So isn't it learned helplessness in a sense?
They are not uh, seeking, like, they are not limiting themselves. So
Okay.
it's something like I had a tough time uh, doing assignments in my previous masters,
Hmm.
right? So I
Yeah.
had that hedonic adaptation of, yeah, pressure bhare assignments do come by. And I have been able to finish the assignments on time in this master. And the pressure of assignments wasn't as much as it was in the previous masters. Hedonic adaptation, right?
So that's a good thing, right?
Yeah, that's a good thing. And I guess advertising comes to my mind. That's why
Hmm.
advertisers have to keep one upping their way of selling something, because I guess the consumers would adapt, but
Yeah.
depend on the culture.
Hmm.
Because हमारा culture तो मैगी खाता ही रहेगा ना. Me just contradicting myself. So why I wanted to talk about hedonic treadmill is that in the Buddhist philosophy, they have something called the hungry ghost. So one of the psychic domains in the Buddhist cosmology is described as the realm of the hungry ghosts. The hungry ghost figures are depicted with scrawny little necks and huge bellies, riddled with powerful desires they can never really satisfy. And nearly everyone, uh, the author writes, so Brickman and Campbell, 1971, in text citation.
This comma and the dots make a lot of difference. Where do they need to be placed in how much space?
Oh no, I had to write Brickman et al. Nobody gets this joke except for people who have to do their papers in APA. So nearly everyone they know struggles with their own version of hungry ghost syndrome. So so yeah, like there is that need. We all have that hungry ghost within us. It needs that feed. So probably post our semester, we both knew that we would have to feed our hungry ghost with something.
My God.
And I started to gather fodder for the hungry ghost. And even you did that. You gathered for the fodder, Shireen. The planning that we're doing for June end meeting and stuff. We decided that.
I realized why it became so important. Because yeah, that's my fodder. So, yeah.
I just had that epiphany with you right now. That we are like, yeah, we were going through hungry ghost syndrome towards the semester end because it was really feeding us. The
Yeah.
conversations, the tangent talks, the whatever realization and personal realizations we would have, and those rich conversations. And I guess this is why I'm gravitated towards astrophysics, because it is quite similar to the rich content that psychology is for me. And astrophysics, I mean, Neil deGrasse Tyson is my pseudo dad, so that's going to be interesting for me.
I also like the aspect of one, the hedonic treadmill. And because I was looking at it from an aspect of also being like, okay, so we're on the treadmill and we're constantly, but we're in the same space, right? So how would you go off it? Like, where does it stop? I mean, is it something that we have to do it mentally because, and then the button says stop and you stop and then the treadmill stops, or is it something that you're just on constantly? And because this hungry ghost syndrome is there, okay, this we've done this, then what next? If we've done this, then what next? And is does that act like a motivation? Okay,
I
very
just
okay.
I visualized if we get the hungry ghost off the treadmill, if that's what its function is, it will then haunt the home spaces. कि एक suddenly the house has become the haunting of Shireen and Kopal respectively. Because they are just there, scrawny, waiting for their belly to be filled and just haunting the space. That's the
And then
visual.
we're creating a morgue file which is like a coffin. And then what? We're living in a cemetery in our own house.
I love it when you talk dark with me. So, how to get off the hedonic treadmill? Because if the person is just used to running on the treadmill,
Yeah.
if they are suggested to, so maybe not run on the treadmill, maybe off it. So, they are definitely going to go, what do you mean? This was working fine. Why do you have to run laps outside? You're not making any sense, right?
Yeah, like also that element of like you're running in the same place. So that also kind of I find it limiting in a sense. Because the treadmill is not taking you anywhere, right? But
Yeah,
still the idea is that since you're on it, you're constantly like feeding something for yourself. Okay, it's going, it's going, it's going, it's going. But then are you actually going somewhere?
it sounds like you are ready to get off the treadmill. Because you are sold with the idea that it's not really taking you anywhere. So if somebody is sold like that, then they would be like, yeah, actually, I can run anywhere. Let's go. And speaking of, we are about to run out of time. So, where would you like to go off the treadmill?
We start with another, or like just like a question mark that comes in my head. It's like, one of those, as you said, the chat bubble that you
Yeah,
went into the blank space rather as a question mark. Okay, possibilities. Where would we go getting off the treadmill?
but I really loved our hungry ghost epiphany.
Yeah, I can totally imagine it.
Who is the ghost? Who? What does the ghost need? Am I the ghost? Do I need the feed? Let me go give myself that feed. What did I write in the coffin? So I guess
Yeah.
the next semester ending when it comes, we both will think about the hungry ghost.
I'm actually going to like, I feel like it's something that won't, it's going to just stay there. It's going to remain. It's not like we'll be able to get rid of it completely.
Definitely. And let the shadow work begin. The archetypal therapy begin.
We came back to it, right?
Yeah.
Had to go into the collective.
But it's such an interesting field. It's the gift that keeps giving for me. And for, I mean, you please speak for yourself. Ki the field of psychology, there is so much of
Mm.
self discovery and so much of wow factor to it that the exploration just keeps on getting interesting and more interesting.
And the best part is, especially for us to be in this course like this, is it's like the discovery doesn't just happen by ourselves. It's through interaction. It is through those rich conversations that you said, and that creates so much more
Yeah.
because these. open like rabbit holes or tributaries or any of these spaces that we tend to wander into deliberately or not, they only open up because somebody else created that, right? Otherwise,
Yeah.
how would we know it existed? So I find that highly interesting. Thanks to our teachers, thanks to our classmates, thanks to all of these research that we do. And that's why I quite like to save these particular thoughts for later also, so that we can always keep coming back and working on them. To carry a notebook and to never never stop having that hunger to
Yeah.
like, okay, what more?
I think we'll rename the Hungry Ghost to something else. You know what? As you were speaking, I realized that what an amazing adventure we get to go on through these thoughts and explorations and into these tributaries. We're just sitting right here and just having an adventure and also getting to know what other psychologists and other researchers did. We are not just having our own adventure, meta boundaries are just broken, and we're getting to see what their adventures were like while
Yeah.
we are on that adventure.
How cool would it have been to have one of them just sit across from us and be like, yeah,
I know,
that's
right?
fun. This Daniel Gilbert, he's sitting and he's thinking of the ironic treadmill and he's like, okay, yeah, this is what it could be, the hedonic adaptation to a hedonic treadmill.
And I would ask him, so man, why the paraplegic question?
Yeah.
I'll,
All going to ask, but then the statistics kind of, I was like, okay.
yeah, I wish I was making these notes when, I mean, much later because these notes are just cartoons. Well, not much has changed. My notes are still cartoons.
I'm waiting for you to create the hungry ghost. I know that you'll do that.
Let's embody, we do a workshop. Let's embody our hungry ghosts. Bring pillow for the belly. Just everybody hungry ghost. Huh?
Yeah, the scrawny necks. And I mean, it's just taking me to a space where, like, would a ghost be nice looking? Why not?
Yeah. Ghost can be nice looking. Well, Shireen's ghost is
Harry
going to be
Potter
nice
teaches
looking.
us that.
Huh?
Harry Potter teaches us that.
That ghosts can be good looking.
Yeah.
The deer
They
scene.
don't have to be like gaunt and scary and like eyes don't need to be hollow and
Wait, are you
they just
talking about Harry Potter's parents in the mirror?
no. I'm not talking I'm talking like the ghosts that float around uh in the
Always.
school.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah, got
They-
it. Got it.
Them. That
Yeah.
is a different concept. His parents, they're not ghosts in the mirror. We'll get to that to someday else. That's
Is it
a different
is it his
conversation.
shadow? Okay, I need to detox from. I have to unjungify myself. I need to
I
devolve.
think you should detox. I think you should detox with Harry Potter.
But that's
That's
what
a
I'm
healthy
saying.
detox.
I can't get into movies because there is so much psychology happening in movies. I can't even go to philosophy because it then again brings me back to psychology. So
You go out, like leave the planet and go to the stars.
yes, grandfather paradox. Okay, the time is about to run out. Okay, bye.
See you.